An important project. This project is an anchor project to building a community. This project is a project that will have this whole neighborhood turned around. So I have a dream for this project, and a lot of times we talk about dreams and visions of things that you haven't ever seen before. But for me, my dream for this community is to be like it was when I was a young girl. When it only took me a few blocks to walk to the commercial corridor. Me and my grandmother would walk there, we could go to the bakery, we saw lawyers, we saw doctors, and all those things. We saw things that gave us hope in our community. We had places where we could work, and we had places where we live. So my dream for this community is for us to continue to move and be focused. What's important about this project is that the Philadelphia Housing Authority administration is moving from downtown into the community. And the important thing about being in the community is that you see what the needs are every day. And so it is important that we are the anchor for this project, and I have to commend Kelvin, and I have to commend the leadership staff and the folks in the community that have worked together to plan this, because we have to do it together as a community, and that's the only way that we build our community. So I thank you all for being here. I'm excited about that. I know that Councilman Clarke is like, his feet are just tingling in his shoes, because we are continuing to build and to build and build. And I have to say thank you to our mayor, because our mayor has been focused on community since day one. And so we appreciate him, we appreciate his involvement of folks, and we appreciate all of you. So let's rebuild this community. Happy being here today. And let me just take one other moment to introduce the other commissioners that are here with us today. Commissioner Cooney, and everybody who knows Asia knows that she has been a warrior for housing for years and years and years. And Herb Wetzel, and for a lot of folks in the back office know Herb, because Herb has also been about housing development for years. There's one other person that we could never not say thank you to when we think about housing and housing, affordable housing in Philadelphia, and that person is Nelly Reynolds, and let's give her a hand. Thank you.
Thank you, boss. So for some reason, my stomach is churning, and I'm incredibly nervous, perhaps because this is the single most important project that we have undertaken to date. PHA's headquarters that has been in the works for about 2.5 years. So before we decided to build here, we considered other locations, we considered other sites. I got quite a few interesting properties that I seriously considered and that the board seriously considered. But ultimately, we felt that it was important that PHA be the anchor on Ridge Avenue, on a revitalized Ridge Avenue corridor. We did not just want to do the transformation, but we wanted to be a part of the transformation that the community wanted to see. Let me tell you, the last 3 years working in this neighborhood has been difficult on a number of fronts. Some said that this day will never happen. Others were critical of the design. Others say that we should move out. But let me tell you that we are here, and this is happening. PHA is investing $45 million right here on Ridge Avenue. The single largest investment, public investment, since the 1960s riots. But we are only just getting started. By the end of this year, PHA and its partners would have invested, listen to this, $130 million right here in Sharswood. PHA and its nearly 1,200 employees are going to be part of the catalyst that changed this community. And no, we are not going to apologize for being part of the change that we seek, that the community seek. PHA is an economic engine, and we believe that the stores and other businesses that will soon follow will not only provide services for our employees, but for the community that needs it as well. The community's requests and desires have shaped the transformation plan for this long neglected neighborhood. And today, their work and patience are producing meaningful outcomes. This moment belongs to the residents of Sharswood, the small business owners like Ann Nails right up the street, and longtime homeowners like Mr. Harold Ridding, who is here today. Please give him a hand. Stand up, Harold. Take a bow. Like Ann Nails and Mr. Redding, they stayed the course. They had the courage. They never, ever left Sharswood. So today the celebration is for all of you. It's for all of them, for the courage and their determination in making this day possible. PHA will soon be open for business right here on Ridge. The ground floor of the building will have a cafe and retail space. Daily, hundreds of Philadelphians from across the city, including contractors, vendors, and residents, will now come to Sharswood Blumberg to do business. The transformation is here, and all of you are witnessing history. Just a block or two away, Vox, a big picture high school, will reopen this fall, and a new supermarket will be here next to PHA's headquarters. The vision that not too many could see is coming to fruition. I want to thank everyone who has been part of this long process, and if you will indulge me, I got a few people that I would specifically like to thank. First and foremost, the PHA finance team led by Celeste Fields. Please give her a round of applause. Our finance partners, PNC Bank, who served as our underwriter for the $30 million bond deal that will be used to construct this building. Please give them a round of applause. Our legal team, headed by General Counsel Larry Redican and his staff. The development team, led by Michael Johns. Our construction team, led by Greg Hempson and our construction manager, Shoemaker. And of course, our city partners, led by my good friend, Ann Fadulin. Thank you for being here. And last but certainly not least, our community partner, the Brewerytown Sharswood Civic Association. Thank you for your partnership. Today's speakers have all committed real efforts, not only in words, but in deeds. I want to first welcome Mayor Kenney, our mayor, and a firm supporter of all of the work that we're doing in Blumberg Sharswood. From the moment that he took office, he's been supportive of these efforts. He was here when we did our grand opening of the first phase of housing and has joined us again today for this important groundbreaking. I expect that he would attend many, many more because there are some 1,200 units of housing, both mixed rental and home ownership, affordable and market. And so there's a lot more to come. Please welcome our mayor, Jim Kenney.
Thank you, Kelvin, for that introduction, and good morning, everyone. It is great to be here breaking ground for the state-of-the-art building that will become the home of the Philadelphia Housing Authority. I really want to thank Council President Clarke and PHA Board Chair Lynette Brown-So for having me here today. This building is perfectly in line with several goals that the city has. It will create a more effective and efficient government. By consolidating more PHA functions into one building, access to the services they provide will be streamlined. It will also allow for more efficient communication between PHA departments. The building will be energy efficient, showing the city's commitment to shifting towards clean, renewable energy sources, reducing our carbon footprint, and honoring the commitments of the Paris Accord, regardless of who says different. It will also be a huge boost to the revitalization efforts to the Ridge Avenue commercial corridor here in North Philadelphia. The workers who build this structure will frequent these places of business. The employees that fill the halls after completion will continue visiting those businesses. This building will also continue beautification and restoration efforts and make the corridor even more inviting. Projects like these are critical to our efforts to expand economic opportunity and equality to every neighborhood in our city. Just as the Philadelphia Housing Authority provides opportunity through safe, affordable places to live, the rebirth of this commercial corridor will provide economic security through the jobs it will support. It will also help build a sense of community by acting as a central location for residents of this neighborhood to spend their free time relaxing in a restaurant or shopping. When I joined Kelvin and Council President Clarke here a few months ago to open the first phase of the new homes, I said I look forward to coming back again and again as this Sharswood transformation plan unfolds. Today is another major step forward. Thank you. I look forward to continue to work together to make Philadelphia a better place. And let me say, as you know, and I don't have to tell people who live here, there's lots of changes happening in this neighborhood. And for the most part, it's a good thing. But sometimes it becomes overwhelming. And I think the fact that this building will be here, that supermarket will be here, that it's important that the people who have lived in this neighborhood for generations do not lose out or pushed out relative to the improvements that are happening here. It is extremely important because if the people who have lived in this neighborhood for generations are no longer here, the attractiveness of this neighborhood is no longer here. We can all coexist, but we need to coexist equally. And I think that this investment, this $40 million investment in this spot right now will set down a standard that this neighborhood may change, but it's not going to change everything. And the folks who live here and have produced for this neighborhood and contributed to this neighborhood for generations will continue to be able to do so. We can all live in peace and harmony, but we got to be fair to everybody. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Kenney. Our next speaker is the loudest cheerleader and advocate for the Sharswood community. He has never wavered and has held me to task. Most of the time I don't want him to. Please welcome my good friend, Council President Darrell Clarke.
Thank you. Good morning. I am excited. All right. So, Mayor, thank you so much. This is the single largest economic development initiative in the North Philadelphia community since Progress Plaza. We'll call it what this is, an economic development initiative. Actually, I was riding down the street, Kel, I stopped by the store up there, and they heard about this. The guy with hoagie shop, and he said he's going to make some special $2 hoagies for PHA employees, right? I'm saying, yo, man, they got pretty good jobs. You might want to up that to $3 a hoagie. But seriously, folks, this is a real shot in the arm for this neighborhood. And the mayor just touched base on it, you know. When we started this process, and there was a lot of turmoil, I'm going to call it like it is, there were some concerns, there was some relocation, there were some condemnations, and there were a lot of people, both in the streets and on the radio, saying, people are going to be moved out of this community and you will no longer have an opportunity to live in North Philadelphia, right? And what we did, we asked people to trust us, right? And I know sometimes coming from a politician, that's a little challenging. You understand what I'm saying? But we asked us to trust. And the simple reality is that this mayor, this executive director, this board, all the workers from the Housing Authority, and more importantly, the leadership of this particular community, both political and civic, have made a commitment. And what you're going to see a community that is diverse, a community that touches base, that enhances what's already here, because we got a pretty good community around here. I mean, the simple reality is right across the street, we got 300 home ownership units. And I remember when we first started that, remember, I'm looking at you over there, they lit me up when we had to do the condemnation. Boy, they came down to city council, oh, Darrell, you. But it ended up being okay. So just like it ended up being okay with the Cecil B. Moore home ownership zone, it's going to be okay with the Brewerytown Sharswood development. So to all of the people involved, I just want to say, folks, this is going to be special, and this is going to be good for our community. And we're going to ask you to be engaged in every step of the way, because we have numerous phases coming up as it relates to the development. And most importantly, we want you to stay and stay committed, right? If you see something that you're not comfortable with, you got to speak up, right? Got to speak up. But I just feel real good about this from day one. I feel real good about this investment. It is, like the mayor said, it is sending a serious signal right, to build a $45 million building, 21st and Ridge, all right? You know what I'm talking about? And that's like some serious stuff. So to all of you that have been involved, I just want to thank you all so much. Look forward to continuing to serve in whatever capacity as it relates to my tenure here, working as your council person. And I want to God bless all of you for everything that you've done. And thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Kelvin, and thank you, Board. Thank you so much for your support.
So I don't mean to call out the council president, but this thank you only lasts until the groundbreaking, because this evening I'm sure I'll be getting a call asking me when the next one is. And see what I mean? A brother just can't get a break, man. So let's moving on. Obviously, PHA needs support from our legislators, both here in Philadelphia, in Harrisburg, and of course in Washington. And many of them are working on some thorny budget issues and couldn't be here with us, but they sent representatives from State Rep Curtis Thomas's office. I'd like to ask Susan Stainton to come forward and make a few remarks on the State Rep's behalf.
Good morning. This is a great day for North Philadelphia. My name is Susan, as Jeremiah stated. I'm with State Representative, the W. Curtis Thomas 181st Legislative District. And I'm standing here because State Representative Thomas couldn't be here because he's in Harrisburg working on a voting committee budget. But he wants to give thanks to the stakeholders for a new beginning in North Philadelphia, a new lighting in North Philadelphia. And he's open for any and everything. Thank you and have a good day.
Please welcome my good friend, the Honorable Jannie Blackwell.
Thank you, Mr. Jeremiah and Lynette and the entire board. Let me say to the mayor and your team, Ann Fadula and PHA and all its teams, including my friend Michael John and all of your management teams who are always so good to me and good to everybody I know. This is a special day. As always, I thank God for the privilege of being here. And let me say, our president has really done it this time to get a new business community, to get a supermarket, a school, to get housing rental and housing ownership. I mean, he's created a whole nother community. It doesn't happen. Believe me, this doesn't happen. It is remarkable. It is something that you don't see. To see it in your lifetime, it's so important, and I'm so proud of the work he's done to be associated with him. And certainly, we say to all of you, God bless, enjoy it, respect it, and you can only expect great other things to come. Thank you. Thank you. I couldn't see you. It's too big.
I was waiting for her to answer. What's going
I couldn't do it. It's too big.
But Jannie, you got a community center.
That's why I didn't complain.
The competition has started. The new PHA headquarters building could not have happened without the complete support of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. I would be remiss if I didn't take the opportunity to thank all of the HUD staff, both those in our regional office in Philadelphia, as well as in the HUD headquarters in Washington, D.C. Today, the HUD is represented by Monica Hawkins, the Region 3 Director. Please give her a warm welcome.
Good morning. I first want to start off by congratulating Kelvin Jeremiah once again, because this is becoming a regular occurrence, but it's a good thing, for all the great work that you're doing. I want to congratulate the Philadelphia Housing Authority staff as well.
This project promises to be an influx of economic development due to the Housing Authority's investment. There's no doubt about that. As part of the Sharswood Blumberg Transformation Plan, PHA plans to construct and relocate its headquarters to this commercial corridor along Ridge Avenue. This development effort will no doubt spur other affordable housing and business development investments. In addition to an enhanced business corridor, PHA plans to deliver 1,200 mixed-income rental homeownership units as part of its transformation plan. And I want to give a round of applause for PHA for that. This is an amazing opportunity, and I am thrilled that HUD has had a hand in making this all possible. PHA received a $500,000 Choice Neighborhoods Initiative planning grant from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. I want to also take this opportunity to acknowledge the HUD team that worked on this project. Brian Slussnuckle, who is the general engineer on my team, Brian Stan, along with our headquarters staff, Paul Lehman and Nancy Boone, they made it possible for environmental clearance for this site. And so, as Kelvin alluded to, there was a lot of work that went into this project and making this day possible. So thank you to the HUD team. Also want to acknowledge Lynn Cox, who, of course, is the public housing specialist for the Philadelphia Housing Authority. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't thank the consulting party members that played a role in providing input along the way. The consulting party members included a group of state and local organizations, state and local officials, faith-based organizations, as well as community residents, some of whom were residents of the Blumberg development. In conclusion, Kelvin, I just want you to know that my office stands ready to continue supporting you on this project as you move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. Now we will hear from the Brewerytown Sharswood Community Civic Association. They have truly been partners with PHA. Notwithstanding their advocacy, we've been able to work cooperatively with them to get this project and others underway. I want to thank them for being the voice of the community, representing the community, the residents, the businesses, and other interests here in Sharswood. I would like to welcome their board chair and founder, Mr. Warren Michael.
I'm going to make it short. My chairman of the NAC asked me to thank PHA for bringing in jobs and an economic opportunity to the community. But I just want to say one of the things that we are looking at is change. There's a song that says, there's nothing to expect but change. There's always going to be change. And we look at this, and we have small changes and we have big changes. And this change is like a tidal wave that is coming through this community. As the councilman spoke about Progress Plaza, which was developed by the Reverend Leon Sullivan, brought great change to this neighborhood. Back in 1964, there was a terrible riot on Columbia Avenue that devastated the economic community in this area. But it's been a long time and a long struggle, but we see change coming, and we're grateful to the president of City Council, the mayor, and also Mr. Jeremiah and the members of our community who have put in the long time and effort to make this a reality. And I just want to thank you, folks. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Michael. And finally, as I mentioned earlier, due to budget negotiations in Harrisburg, several of our supporters who would have otherwise been here were unable to make it, including Governor Wolf, State Rep Donna Bullock, and Senator Street. I'd like to extend deep gratitude, especially to all of them and all of our delegation for their hard work in securing the $2 million in RACB funding for this project. Please, let's give them a round of applause in their absence. I'd like to ask from Senator Street's office, Mr. Darnell's Dean Sr. to speak on his behalf.
Good afternoon. I first give praise to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who's truly first in my life. I'd like to say to the councilman, to the mayor, to Mr. Jeremiah, to the illustrious board of PHA, I stand here to represent State Senator Sharif Street. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here because he is in Harrisburg doing what the senator does, continue to fight for his constituents. Before I speak for him, I just want to take the opportunity and not find it not robbery to speak about my former boss, State Senator Shirley M. Kitchen, who for 20 years have taken up the gauntlet to fight for the residents of the 3rd Senatorial District. She has been instrumental in helping PHA do all that they have done with the mayor, with the councilman. They go hand in hand with each other. They sometimes battle, but they get the job done. But now I want to go on and talk about my boss, who has the legacy of what Senator Kitchen left, was to continue to work with PHA, continue to work with Mayor Kenney, continue to work with Councilman Darrell Clarke, continue to work with the illustrious board of PHA, because they have to continue to working together to make sure that the residents that they represent is represented the way they're supposed to be. So the fight is real, the fight is strong, and together they can fight to make it be sufficient for the people they represent. I'm thankful, I'm grateful for this opportunity to speak on his behalf, and I will let him know that we are right down the street, 1621 West Jefferson Street, right up the street where this illustrious building will be. If you need him, find it not robbery, go down the street and speak to him. He'll be right there to answer whatever needs to be done. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak on their behalf.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, hold on, nobody now.
I was just messing with you.
Wait,